Bam, what's up YouTube? Hope you guys are all doing well. Today we seem to have a bit of a balance patch coming in. And let's just go through it straight up, yeah? We've got a little balance adjustment notice. Greetings can come to us. Summoners of Lost Centuria is monitoring the usage and winning rates of all monster spells and skill stones in the game. And they're trying to adjust the fun and balance of battles through regular balance adjustments. Ha! We are carefully approaching this balance adjustment based on valuable opinions of our summoners and continuous internal testing and review. Eh, don't tell me that when people were like, no, don't touch the Kona Skillstone, alright? I know you're doing some stuff, but we'll get into that, guys. We'll get into it. Please read below for the balance adjustment scheduled to take place on June 3rd. Okay, so that is tomorrow, I guess? Tomorrow or the day after, I guess? It's the second here. Eh, yeah. Please note that there may be parts that are different from the notice given in advance in actual application. You mean like the World Tournament? Yeah. Anyways, some monster skills have been balanced. So the Legend units that have been balanced are Artemil, Heavenly Sword. They've increased his damage by 10% and increased the HP recovery amount. Now that should be interesting. Artemil is a very powerful unit. I know a lot of people underestimate him, but when you've got a good Artemil on your comp and someone's got like just a couple buffs, like you're likely to get one shot by Artemil. Plus he does a little heal, which is just bonus. So something to be wary of there, especially if you've got that skill stone where he also revives a unit after he kills something. Like that's Artemil is a pretty good unit, all right. People just kind of underestimate him a lot, I think. Now, Ganymede, I'm really excited to see how Ganymede goes here. So, Seal Magic, they're increasing his damage by 32% and increasing the chance of incineration, which is where he wipes out all your cards. So, I'm really keen to see how that works out in practice. He might be a lot more viable now because right now, most of the time, he incinerates like maybe two cards and like that's it. And it's like, yeah, he's kind of like a bit of a letdown from what he was in the beta at the moment. So hopefully the 32% increased damage might actually be some nice chip damage too. So I'm keen to see how that goes. Ragdoll, Dragon's Eyes, increased the damage by 35%. Now, let's just double check this because people were talking about if it was the debuff or his actual card. Yeah, so Dragon's Fury is his attack, right? And then Dragon's Eye is the Okay, yeah. So Dragon's Fury is his attack card. So this is the card he uses to attack the enemy after they've used. So once the enemy's used the skill, he can then counter attack and hit them. Right. So that's not this Dragon's Fury isn't what having its damage increased. It's this Dragon's Gaze. Okay. So this Dragon's Eyes. The dragon will appear to inflict damage to all targets in the same line when using an active skill. So this is what's getting its damage increased. Okay, guys. So just be aware of that. It's not a straight up 35% damage increase to Ragdoll. And to be fair, Ragdoll does hit quite hard. So it should be interesting to see how that effect plays out, especially when you can just kind of cleanse it off and stuff, all right? Excuse me, guys. Now, Rakan, Leap of Beast, he's having his damage increased by 15%. And he's having the immunity and beneficial effects of, I guess, the attack up. I think it gets increased as well for the duration. Now, a lot of people have been talking down on Rakan, and I don't like. Listen, Rakan can hit hard, and for 5 mana, he does. I feel like he does reasonable damage. Like, my Nikki on the back line will like a third or half HP people, and like she doesn't even have like proper good runes yet, right? Copper can like half HP the front line to like a third to half HP the front line, and Rakan's just as capable of doing that too if he's given a bit of love. He's just you got to put the right runes on him. Most people aren't putting their best runes on Rakan, put it that way, right? So I know people have been talking down on him, but like he's the fire front line hitter. I've even seen the Ice Golem do some respectable damage at times. He just had the crit to do it. But like that guy can also freeze enemies, so like you combo the Ice Golem with something else, then it's pretty devastating. But yeah, I feel like he does like similar damage to the other single line hitters already. So it'll be nice to see if people stop talking down on him after they've increased his damage a bit more. But I think he's going to be scary because you gotta remember this, he's a bruiser, right? He's there to tank and do damage. Plus he's giving himself immunity and attack up too, not including whatever skill stones you've got on him. So like as far as a bruiser goes, I feel like he's a good bruiser. All right, so for the hero units, Lucian Amputated Magic or Amputation Magic is getting its damage decreased by 5%. Now, a lot of people are like, Lucian's OP this, Lucian OP that. It's not. You've got a lot of setup for Lucian comp. You've got to have the Giant Warrior going. They're like, oh, you can just two-shot him. It's like, guys, listen. If you don't have a fire unit on your team comp, that's your own fault, all right? I mean, most people are running Kuman. Most people are running Beretta. Most people are running all kinds of fire units on the team right now. You shouldn't be losing to a Lucian comp when you can, like in those ways. Like unless you're using like single target skills, spam, 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 right? Like the Lucian should be the least of your worries. It should be when you get to the end game, right? So Lucian's going to do a lot of damage. Units like Wusa can help prevent the Lucian AoE. There's the Konami, a skill stone if you're lucky to have it, can help heal. Just like, you've got Colleen to help heal back some of the damage too. Like you got so many fire units that you can make use of. Just because everyone's running Lucian doesn't mean Lucian is the best comp to run, and it doesn't mean that he's OP. It just means that he's a relatively easy unit to make use of, because he is. Because all you got to do is buff him, pop Giant Warrior, use him a couple times, and it feels good, right? Just because he's easy to use doesn't mean he's broken. Now, a unit like Kaman, which we're going to get to, we'll get into that, okay? Hua, Burning Whip, her damage is being increased by 10%, so that's nice, because like she always kind of feels like sometimes just like that little bit left over, so hopefully that changes. Vertihile, Blood Ring, mana cost reduction from 4 to 3, which is, I don't know if it's really going to get him to see more use, but it is very nice. Like, it'll be, like, I feel like Blood Ring is nice. He is a very satisfying unit to use to kill people with. But I feel like if I had to choose between Vertihile and Targ, I forget how to pronounce his full name. Little elemental dude that stuns units. I feel like I'd probably choose Targ. I think it's Targarus. But just because he hits real hard, plus he stuns. Verd's okay though, and Verd's very satisfying to kill with. But like we have so many fire single target units already. Like, when are we gonna see the Wind Ninja come back? When are we gonna see the Water Lizard, who he's not single target, but like he does continuous damage to the front line, I think it was. Just some more wind and water single targets, maybe some light dark single targets. Just we've got like 3 fire single targets already. 3, 4, 5, I don't know. We've got a lot of them, all right? But I don't know if he's going to see more use because of it, but it is respectable as far as changes go, and it does bring him in line with Targarus and Kali, so that'll be nice. Now, come on. Yes. The guy he is having his bug fixed, right? So let's just duck down here quickly. He is, listen, a monster skill error has been fixed. Come on, fix the issue of absorbing more HP when your HP is less when using Soul Devour. However, right, so that's the thing that was causing Kaman to heal like 10k, right? So like 4 to 5k for each unit, right? However, they're increasing the default life drain amount. This guy doesn't need a buff. He needs a nerf. This is probably one of the most broken units in the game, even without the bug, because it's a bruiser, it's HP based damage. The thing literally can one-shot a unit, right? And most of the time it's gonna like 75% your HP to at least like half to 75% of your HP, right? So he does respectable damage. He heal blocks on top of that, and he heals 2 units, not 1 unit, 2 units, right? Like, it's not just life drain, right? This guy will sustain a team on his own, basically, just because he heals like 1700 HP per attack across 2 units. So the guy's healing like 3k plus HP in a single attack, while simultaneously being super tanky and practically one-shotting whatever it attacks. Almost one-shotting. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with this guy, but a buff is not the thing that he needs right now, or at all. This guy did not need a buff just because they got rid of the bug that was making him heal like 8 to 10k HP instead of 3k HP. This guy, compared to the Water Fairy, like, think about it. Water Fairy heals a single target unit for like 1800, maybe 2k, right? Doesn't do any damage to anybody else. Like, yes, she's a rare, but like, Kaman is just, oh my god, like, he's just disgusting. Let's be honest, he's just disgusting. Especially with the heal block on top of it. Like, he can just solo an entire team. Like, you literally can't put out enough damage without crowd controlling him or heal blocking him. He will just solo your entire comp unless he's glancing on a water unit repeatedly, or you put up like you can put up invincibility and shields to try and stop him. But like, if it's just him left, let's say you like try to use your Lapis shield to stop him. If it's just him, the Lapis shield's not going to be strong enough to actually stop him. So if he doesn't glance, he's probably going to heal block you, which isn't a big deal for something like Lapis, but he's still going to do hella damage, and he's just going to heal himself anyway. So it doesn't matter if there's a shit, it doesn't matter because he's just this unstoppable thing, especially once you put Giant Warrior on the guy. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Kaman. The guy does not need a buff. However, we're going to see a buff, and I got to say, I'm a little disappointed with that one. I don't know why they're showing him so much love, but in my opinion, he's just this absolutely broken unit. He just does so much, so much. Like, when it comes down to like the last 5 units, that guy will just take them all out, and you just won't have enough damage unless you can get like some bombs from, say, Kobold or something on there. Maybe the Imp, but I mean, I've had my Imp soloed by a Command before. It was just, yeah. It was 2 shots. The Imp died. It didn't glance, but and the Imp didn't freeze him either. So it was like, he just healed himself back up. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on so this video is not too long and just about Command, alright? Jean, Shield Push. The stun time is being reduced from 4 seconds to 1 second, so you are going to have to use her as a counterplay unit most of the time now. You can't just spam her and stun lock something, which is unfortunate because she was one of the best units for dealing with Command, right? And her sub-skill, Prayer of Protection, it's being changed from Alleviate 3 to Alleviate 2, so now you're probably going to have to watch out for those Giant Warrior Lapis again once you hit that back line. I was enjoying making use of Alleviate 3 once we got to the back line and had to deal with the Giant Warrior Lapis. Now, for the rare units, Orion, Harmless Prank, the mana cost is being increased to 3. Now, this is the initial mana cost. I don't know if that means that once you use it, if you've got the Heroic Stone that brings it back for like 1 mana, I don't know. I feel like the 1 mana is still going to be a thing, so you better watch out for that, alright? They're increasing his damage by 20%, which, okay, fair. He doesn't do too much damage, but when he spams, it's very annoying, and he gets a lot of damage out there anyway. And his stun time is being reduced as well from 4 seconds to 1 second, so he also, you probably want to play him as like a counter unit instead of trying to just spam him from now on, because he's a little less reliable than Jean's stun, unless it's like one-on-one, and then you can just lock him down at the moment. Now, Beretta, Flaming Thunder, they're decreasing the default damage, right? So this is the like initial hit by 30%, which is fine, because he doesn't do that much anyway. And his continuous damage amount is going to be the same. So as long as you get, we use Beretta for dots, so Beretta's going to be used for dots, right? So that'll be fine. Thrain's Doomsday is being increased by, his damage is being increased by 16%, which is great. Because Thrain kind of felt like he fell off a little bit. Especially since the beta, like Thrain was like doing really good, and you could kind of tell that they nerfed Thrain's damage just a little bit, right? They nerfed his damage enough that he's not going to be soloing like 2 versus 7 anymore. However, this damage increase might help bring him back a little bit, make him a bit more reliable for the end game. So I'm keen to kind of see how he works out there. Maybe he'll find his way back into the comps with Beretta, perhaps, and yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Now, I can't pronounce his name properly, but we'll try. It's like Hraesvelg or something. It's the barbarian, all right. It's the barbarian guy, the wind barbarian guy. His ruthless blow. He is a tanky unit. They're increasing the damage by 12%, and they're improving branding 1 to branding 2. So that's going to be nice. We'll have to see how it goes. I have seen them hit really hard before, but only once, right? This guy, he does damage based on enemies' max HP. So it should be interesting to see how that turns out. Maybe he'll see some more use. Hopefully he gets brought in line closer to Copper. Then you can kind of cycle between Copper and him. That would be kind of cool, I think. Though you might be a little too much wind on one team, but we'll have to see how it goes. As for normal units, they are, as I mentioned before, they are nerfing the Economia Stone, decreasing the HP recovery amount. I don't know how low they're reducing it, but like the Economia Stone was not broken. It did not need any changes. The dude was hit like it was like he would heal back like one dot from Beretta. He'd heal like Beretta, like all these Beretta dot spam comps. The Lucian comp, for example, it was like I've been using the stone. It's like my anti-Lucian thing to help get an edge on people that don't have their own Economia stone, who just spam Lucian and Beretta, right? Like this stone, as far as I'm concerned, was perfectly balanced because it was the counter to the current meta and a lot of other things. Most of the time, when I face a non-AoE comp, like, also Tessa countered it very fine. When I ran into a Tessa comp, I had the hope that I got my transfer spell or my cleanse, so I could get rid of that stuff before Konomiya died with Oblivion on him, because then it wouldn't activate, right? But as far as AoE comps went, this was my answer to the AoE comps, right? And whenever I faced like a comp with both AoE and single target, normally Konomiya is dead before they even put their AoE out. They just kill Konomiya and then they start spamming AoEs. So like the skill stone nerf completely unnecessary, especially when you've got broken units like Command doing just ridiculous healing. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Anyways, Rikuni, Breeze, they're increasing the damage by 14%. Now, Rikuni can pop off. I've seen, Rikuni's killed units before, and he then reduces the mana cost of another card. So, it should be interesting to see if Rikuni gets a bit more love. I'd probably be using him here and there if he had, if I had some skill stones for him, but I don't just yet. So, that's a shame. Anyways, we're getting some of the spell balance changes as well. So normal giant warrior, the mana cost is being increased from 1 to 2, which is nice. And the duration from 11 to 25 seconds is being reduced from 9.2 to 12 seconds, which is great because giant warrior was lasting way too long. It's too difficult to deal with. Invincibility and all that kind of stuff just doesn't last long enough. Maybe blood shield, but maybe they got a Soha, they steal it, whatever, right? Transfer mana cost from 1 to 2, which is also great, except that it was one of the only answers we had to dot comps anyway. So they've released Sierra, they've released the Kobold, and then they're nerfing transfer. Decreasing the damage that it does, which is unfortunate because I was using it to try and finish people off. But it is what it is. Yeah. I don't know if I'll use it over Blood Shield now, but we'll have to see. Now the Reflection Shield I'm keen to see. They're reducing the mana cost from 3 to 2, and the damage that it reflects is going from 1,000 to almost 4,000, up to 1,300 to 6,300. So that should be pretty cool to see. It might actually see some better use now. While it's up, it should be pretty nice, honestly. That could potentially kill 1 or 2 units, depending. Who knows? Maybe it'll kill Lucians. And as for the rare spells, Reckless Devotion, the mana cost is being increased from 1 to 2. The buff duration is also being nerfed. Now, I felt like it was already kind of whatever for the buff. It doesn't last too long, and you can steal it. Reckless Devotion was counterable, right? So from 11 to 17 seconds to 8 to 14 seconds. The weakening duration, 9 to 3 seconds to 6 to 3 seconds, right? So at least the weakening duration is going down, but as soon as it drops, watch out, alright guys? The 3 seconds will be nice if you can get it high enough level, right? Now, some monsters' default stats have also been balanced. Ragdoll is having his attack increased, defense decreased, HP decreased, McKean is having her attack decreased, her defense increased, and her HP increased. And our Barbarian boy having his attack decreased, defense staying the same apparently, and HP being increased. As well as Kaman is having his bug fixed where he absorbs way too much HP, the 10k heals. And the card draw time for acceleration deceleration is being changed. So the speed at which cards drawn to your hand is slightly slower than before when the acceleration effect is applied. Right. And the speed at which cards drawn to your hand is slightly faster than before when the deceleration effect is applied. So when you get decelerated, it's a little quicker to get your cards back than it was. And when you accelerate yourself, it's a little slower now. They're bringing it more in line so you can't get completely messed up by acceleration deceleration teams. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. I will leave it there. We're 20 minutes in. Let me know what you think about the patch changes. I let you know my thoughts, and we'll have to see how it goes. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Haha.